Hey guys, Doran here, Jeff Vilk, and we're talking about
Culture.
culture, and does it matter?
I think culture matters.
Culture matters.
We're going to talk about why culture matters.
Why does it matter?
So, obviously you're the expert, but I want to give an observation that I've made over my professional career.
Keep going.
Keep
Go
going.
live. Bill O'Reilly. All right, this sounds good, yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go. When you say 3, 2, 1, because remember, don't jump.
3, 2, 1.
Culture matters.
Culture
That's what we're here
matters.
to talk about
Yeah.
right now. So from my observation from working at different companies, right? So I've had a professional career working at different banks. And one thing I've noticed, and I never put a name to it, but I'm going to associate the word culture to the atmosphere at working at these different banks. And what I feel about culture is, how is management perceived? How does management interact? How does the business model work? What's the vision? What's the goal? And I've heard, I've had my own experiences, and I've talked to obviously other people that worked at different companies that say, like, I don't like working there. I don't like the atmosphere there. I don't like the mission there. I don't like how they're doing what they're doing. And I feel like if you don't have a buy-in, then the culture's broken. And if your culture's broken, well, how do you strive for success? I feel like that's where the high turnover happens. That's where you're going to work and you're always looking for that next opportunity. If the culture's not working and management doesn't care and they're not willing to implement culture matters, then what are you doing? You're literally going to a job and you don't like it. You're going to give it 100%. If you don't have a buy-in from your employees all the way up to management, then it's a system designed to fail. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? You're the expert. I got to ask you.
I think you're the expert. I'm gonna do mortgages. So Jeff he helps people move into their dream home. I'm supposed to be the culture guy. I think we need to switch roles. Right? I think I quit. No, that was beautiful. I think Indian tears came out of my right eye while you were saying that. So you mentioned something. It's the environment, correct?
Correct.
Myself, Doran, yes, I just talked about the third person. Who is this guy? I'm going to define culture for everyone right now. Ready?
I'm ready.
Because this planet that we're on seems to not have a specific definition that we can actually digest. I'm not going to give you this 2-paragraph explanation based on anthropology, okay? Culture is a metaphorical ecosystem of shared belief created by an influencer and maintained by the influenced.
So in a setting, would that be the CEO would be the influencer, you would hope? Or
you would hope is parentheses. All right, that's okay. Metaphorical, meaning we can't see it. Ecosystem, meaning it's all interrelated, of shared belief. So when you agree with me on something, and I agree with you, that is called cultural alignment. We could define that as we are aligned culturally, meaning our metaphorical ecosystem of shared belief it's a bridge, and that bridge would be called trust. When you don't believe what I believe anymore, the trust is gone. So there's the bridge broke. So there's no alignment. So the real thing we want to create is cultural alignment. Now the question is, who's the influencer? Well, the influencer and influenced, the observed and the observer, it can be either. It can be either. Meaning, at any time, when you have made a decision to go in someone else's point of view, we would call that sales. Okay. Well, when that point of view helps you, I would call it you bought. You made a cultural decision yourself to be influenced. So you share that alignment. Culture being a metaphorical ecosystem of shared belief created by an influencer, not the influencer, not the boss, an influencer. So it doesn't have to be the boss. Maintained by you. You're going to continue that as long as, well, now that's the question. Well, how does that break? And then who's the influencer and how? Like, why? What? Okay. You're in a scenario where you have a boss, a manager, telling you what to do. However, they're not doing it themselves. Are you more likely or less likely to resist?
More likely.
More likely to resist.
Yeah.
And less likely to do it.
Correct.
And more likely to resent them. Human nature. There's lack of trust now. There's not alignment. So, you, for whatever that task is, let's say it's making cold calls or hot calls, you now don't want to do it because they're not doing it and you're not trained on how to do it. So you're going to tell people, you don't need to do it. It doesn't work anymore. You're going to look for logical reasons to justify why you're not doing it. Also human nature. It's called cognitive dissonance. So, let's say that your coworkers trust you more than the boss because you are consistent with your belief systems, your character. Your character is your self-culture. It's so consistent. They like you and trust you. You're going to influence them more than the boss. So the metaphorical ecosystem of shared belief with most companies is the manager is the boss no one likes because they don't actually lead, meaning they don't show the way so you go the way. They're not in the front of the battle. They're in the back telling you what to do. They're not Napoleon. They're not Alexander the Great. They're somebody else. That sucks. And so what you do is you don't listen to them. You do it your way, which usually isn't even the right thing because if you knew what you needed to know, you'd own the company. So then you're influencing your entire colleagues to not make the call or to not do this or to not do that. That's usually in your best interest. And it's all because the boss doesn't know how to communicate and lead. Because the founder, and this is why I started Culture Matters, hasn't clearly transcribed the vision of the company, the mission, and the values, but then, and this is the catch, created the atmosphere and the training around those values to change people's culture. Their culture is their self-character. So like your culture in your head is your character. As soon as you open your mouth, now there's cultural alignment or there's not. So understanding the difference between your character, the boss's character, Jed's character, and understanding that you all have different characters or thought processes until some influencer brings you all together, and that influencer can either be Hitler or Mother Teresa. So it doesn't matter if it's good or evil. Culture is a metaphorical ecosystem of shared belief created by an influencer and maintained by the influenced based on what the influencer does.